I cannot tell you how excited I am to revisit this game. I have currently been playing or streaming Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition on Twitch. And I'm like, why is it that they create a Legendary Remaster edition of Mass Effect, but not Dragon Age Origins? I just don't understand. I really hope that in the future they remaster this game because this is one of my all time favorite games. And I figured since I'm replaying Mass Effect, why not revisit Dragon Age Origins? So, let's go. And so is the Golden City blackened. With each step you take in my hall, marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doom upon all the world. Canticle of Theraноdes 8:13. And I apologize if you could hear my doggies
The
barking
chantry teaches us
in the background.
that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead, they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Okay, so this Dragon Age Origins was the very first game I uploaded on my channel. And that was back before I was doing commentary. And it still gets pretty good a pretty good number of people watching it. So I figured this time we're going to have some commentary. I'm going to talk. and hopefully it will go a little faster because I was, it was my very first time uploading and recording, so it was a little nerve-wracking. And I'm sure I went a little slow for some people's liking. I still go slow, but hopefully not as slow as back then. And I remember when this game first released, I was actually still in the Air Force and I was deployed to Kuwait, and I had my husband order the PC version for me and send it to me to Kuwait, and I loaded it on my laptop. And any chance I had, I played this game on my laptop when I was in Kuwait. All right, but I've digressed, so let's get back to the gameplay here. I am going to play as somebody I don't normally play as. Normally I like to play as the magic, mage type of person, but this time I think we're going to do something different. Let's see here. The background you select will determine which of 6 distinct opening stories you play through. It also affects how characters respond to you throughout the game. Okay, just to give you guys a heads up, I do have a couple of little minor mods installed. Nothing that will change the gameplay, but one of them is just a UI fix so that the wording and the wording and the lettering that you guys see will be a little bigger, and then a little texture mod, and I will have the name of those mods in the description area. So we're going to play as a female, and we have here the different races. So we have a human, an elf, and a dwarf. Since I know what I want to play as, we're going to select human, and we are going to be a human noble because I want to be a rogue. Here you also have a human noble, but as a fighter, and you can't select anything else. And of course we have the mage class, which is magi. All right, born to wealth and power second only to royalty, you find your training in both diplomacy and battle put to the test as your brother leads the bulk of your family's forces to war in the south. Again, I typically play a magi sorcerer or a wizard type good person, but we're going to play this, we're going to play her differently. Definitely going to play her differently. All right, let's look at these presets they have. Okay, let's see. I like the little jewels in her hair. Ponytail. Don't like the little honey buns on the back of the head. Okay, I think a really short ponytail. This mouse is pretty sensitive. Might have to change that. All right, I think we're gonna go with this preset and just change up some things. Skin complexion, what does this do? Okay, that makes her young or old. Skin tone. All right. Let's see, blush color. Would she wear cosmetics? Probably not. Take her blush off. We might have some mascara on, but and some lipstick, and that's probably about it. All right, let's see which one of these lip colors. Lip intensity is going to be up there. Let's see if there's another color I like better than that. There's a dark purple that I liked. All right, we'll go with that. Eyeshadow, take that off. And lower that. No tattoos. All right, let's go to the hair. Let's change her hair color. All right, that's it. I guess we'll go with that color. Her eyebrows. Not much of a choice here for the eyebrows. Go with that. Make those the same color or darker, possible. Okay, we're going with the same color. All right, on to the eyes. Let's see what we have for presets. Not much. Okay, spacing looks fine. Height's fine. Eye color, let's change that. All right, brow depth. What does this do? Okay, her forehead. We'll leave that the way it is, along with the height. Wow, we can't do anything with the eyelashes. All right, nose. Her nose is fine. Mouth. A little bit bigger lips. This jaw and cheek, fine. Anybody can't see her ears, so I'm not gonna mess with that. And her neck is fine. Portrait. Okay, what does this do? Okay, it changes how we are in the portrait, that will be up here in the upper left. Let's see. We'll leave it like, maybe about like that. Okay, we can zoom in and out on it. Move it left or right. Let's move it to the left just a little. Up or down, okay. Background. I like purple. That purple doesn't look bad. Where was that other purple at? That one there? I think we'll go with that purple. All right, expression. What's this about? Okay. That looks quizzical. Angry. Okay. And just plain silly. This is the original one. Maybe that one. I don't really see much difference other than it raised her chin up a little bit. All right, voice.
No, it is gone. Greetings. Greetings.
Charmed.
Greetings. How do you do?
Let's see.
Oops! Where's my head? This is not good. Scoot. Off I go.
Okay, I kind of like the cocky one. Let's listen to the wise.
Greetings. I've lost concentration. I should do something else. Excuse me. Till we meet again.
Greetings. Well, that didn't work.
How do you do? Oops! Where's my head?
I think I'll go with a cocky. And her name. Of course, anybody who watches me play or follows me on Twitch knows I like to name my female Sasha. All right, is that it? We're good? I think she looks good. Next. Oh, okay, our attributes. Mouse over an attribute to see its description. Okay, well, we know she's going to be a dex build because she's going to be a rogue. So she's going to need lots of dexterity. Strength measures a character's physical prowess and directly affects the damage a character deals in physical combat. It also contributes to the accuracy of melee attacks. High strength is essential for warriors, in particular if they wish to wield two-handed weapons, and is nearly as critical for rogues. Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Dexterity is the measure of agility, reflexes, and balance. Higher dexterity improves a character's chances to hit, makes the character more likely to dodge incoming blows, and contributes to the damage dealt by piercing weapons like daggers or arrows. Archery and dual weapon fighting styles demand high dexterity to master, making this attribute a favorite for rogues. Willpower represents a character's determination and mental fortitude. With high willpower, mages can cast more spells thanks to a deeper mana pool. For warriors and rogues, willpower grants more stamina for combat techniques and special attacks. Okay, so already they're telling us we have to put some points in these first three. Magic is the measure of a character's natural affinity for the arcane. This attribute is crucial for mages since it directly increases a character's spell power score, which determines the potency of all spells. The magic attribute also determines how effective potions, poultices, and salves are for all classes. Okay. Cunning determines how well a character learns and reasons. Most skills, such as herbalist or combat tactic, require a quick mind to master, and an observant eye can more easily find weaknesses in enemy armor. Rogues benefit most from this statistic, as many of their class abilities and special attacks rely on subtlety or reading the target, not raw strength. Constitution. Constitution represents health and resilience. Higher constitution directly increases the amount of damage a character can take before falling on the battlefield. All right, so we already have a pretty high dexterity, but we're going to put another point in that. And let's put a point into cunning. Another point into constitution. Let's just throw a point in there too. And I think the last point we'll put in, let's make it dexterity. All right, skills. We have one skill point to spend. And where do we want to put it? We have coercion, stealing, trap making, survival, herbalism, poison making, combat training, and combat tactics. Combat tactics. The character can formulate strategies quickly in battle and consequently gains a combat tactics slot. So we're going to want to increase this. Improve combat training. Warriors and rogues gain access to second-tier weapon talents, as well as a bonus to stamina regeneration. Mages can take more damage from an attack before it interrupts their spell casting and gain a bonus to mana regeneration. Okay. I think since we're just right at the beginning, I don't know if we need the combat tactics slot yet, but let's go ahead and bump this up since it's going to regenerate our stamina. Okay, we have 2 points to spend in talents. For the rogue, we have dirty fighting. The rogue incapacitates a target who takes no damage from the attack but is stunned for a short time. Below the belt, the rogue delivers a swift and unsportsmanlike kick to the target, dealing normal combat damage as well as imposing penalties to defense and movement speed unless the target passes a physical resistance check. Deft hands. Let's see. This is a skill or a point, a talent we have to activate. So is this. This is passive. All rogues have some understanding of opening locks and spotting traps, but participating dexterous hands and a steady grip give the character a bonus when picking locks or disarming traps. The character's cunning score also contributes to these skills. Stealth is a sustained talent. The rogue has learned to fade from view, although perceptive enemies may not be fooled. Taking any action beyond movement, including engaging in combat or using items, will still attract attention. If the rogue initiates combat while still stealth, the first strike is an automatic critical hit or backstab. Okay, so this talent, what that tells me as far as sustain, they will be in stealth mode until they attack or use something. All right, dual weapons. We're going to focus on dual weapons as well. Don't know about archery. Dual weapon training. The character has become more proficient fighting with 2 weapons and now deals closer to normal damage bonus with the offhand weapon. That's a passive talent. Dual striking is a sustained talent. When in this mode, the character strikes with both weapons simultaneously. Attacks cause more damage, but the character cannot inflict regular critical hits or backstabs. Okay. Dual weapon sweep. This is something that has to be activated. The character sweeps both weapons in a broad forward arc, striking nearby enemies with one or both weapons and inflicting significantly more damage than normal. Oh, we only have 2 points to spend. I really like the sounds of this dual weapon sweep. Let's pick that up. And then we already get that automatically. Are we going to need something more than what we have to pick locks? This says we already have an understanding of opening locks. Maybe I should wait on that. Well, decisions. I don't know. I'm thinking I might want to take this. I remember there being a lot of chests at the beginning that we cannot open, or at least I couldn't open before. I wonder. All right, we're just going to take it. All right, let's play. Please select the difficulty level. Okay, we have easy, normal, hard, and nightmare. Now, I have played through this game once. I've started it many times years ago, but when it was uploaded onto my channel, that was the first time I actually played through the whole game. And that was 5 years ago? So maybe, let's see, normal. This is the recommended setting for players familiar with role-playing games, providing a good balance of challenge and survivability. It requires moderate use of tactical pausing to plan actions during combat. Although party members can harm each other with careless use of certain abilities, damage due to friendly fire is only half of what it would be against enemies. Hard. This setting provides a considerably greater challenge than normal difficulty. To prevail against the more aggressive enemy AI, You will need to make sophisticated use of tactical pausing as well as clever combinations of spells and talents. Friendly fire damage is no longer scaled down, and your party will not heal as easily. Enemies will inflict more damage, be encumbered by status effects for shorter durations, and demonstrate greater resistance to various damage types. I think Hard Nightmare. Ha! This setting is intended for tactical geniuses who found hard difficulty too easy. I don't know about the nightmare difficulty. Maybe I could try starting out on hard, and if it proves to be too difficult, lower it later. Let's start out on hard. That didn't take too long.
For generations, your family, the Kuzlans, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Kuzlan's banner in service to the crown, not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No. The appearance of the Darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True. That we both had less grey in our hair then. And we fought Orlesians, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pop, I didn't see you there. How, you remember my daughter?
I see she's become a lovely young woman. Pleased to see you again, my dear.
Let's see here. Now, I plan on playing this character kind of snarky. Something I don't normally play as. Because I want to bring something different to this gameplay. Was I brought here for a reason, and you, or Hal, is your family here? So you're not leaving until tomorrow? Nah, we're not going to say pleased to see you again. Was I brought here for a reason?
Since your brother is leading our forces south and I'm going with the Owl, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
Well, I want to go fight.
I'm certain you'd more than prove yourself, but I am not willing to deal with your mother if you join the war. She'd kill me if I let you go. She's already twisted into knots about Fergus and me going.
If you don't send me, I'll kill you. What? Why would we say that to our father? I would not say that. And I'm not going to cry either about it. Let me talk to her. I'll convince her.
I doubt that. You know your mother, and she made it clear there is no debate. This is no needless task. I ask you to take a great responsibility. Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Tyrn Kuzland.
Your lordship, you didn't mention that a Grey Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
They defeated the Darkspawn long ago.
Not permanently, I fear.
Without their warning of the Darkspawn rising now, half the nation could have been overrun before we'd had a chance to react. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your daughter is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is my daughter we're talking about.
Is there a reason I shouldn't join them?
You did just finish saying that Grey Wardens are heroes, old friend.
I've not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone?
Can he not find a better nickname to call me other than Pup? Of course.
In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me.
I'd like to stay and talk to Duncan.
You'll have plenty of time after we're gone. We must discuss the battle plans in the south. Be a good lass and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
All right. I don't plan on reading the Codex. BioWare has a habit of just giving you all kinds of lore to a game. But we will look at the journal. Your journal tracks updates to your current objectives and records the results of prior exploits. This includes quests completed as well as codex entries that describe the world around you. At the bottom of the journal screen, the Make Active button lets you designate the quest you're currently working on, which activates arrows on the map and in the game that would direct you to the next point in the plot. Okay, that's part of the DLC, the Soldier's Pass. Father's Task. Find Fergus. Your father, Tyrion Brees Kuzlin, and Arlhau have been summoned by King Kaelin to the Battle of Ostagar. However, Arlhau's forces have been delayed. You've been sent to tell your brother Fergus that he should leave for Ostagar ahead of your father. Fergus is probably in his room saying goodbye to his wife and child. Make that active. All right. Let's look at the map. Area map. The area map displays a top-down view of your current area. Some regions will only be revealed when you explore them. By default, plot helpers are not shown in the unexplored regions, but you can change this in the options menu. All right, this castle is pretty big, and we will explore every inch of it. So we'll probably start over here and work our way around. I can't remember if we can put, it doesn't look like we could put points down to help us get to where we want to go. All right, anything else in here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, tab highlights interactive things. Okay. Okay, gotta get used to this, used to the gameplay here with the mouse. Plot helpers are markers on your current area map that indicate where you need to go to progress in your active quest. Okay, and it'll allow you to change the view, so you can do top down if you want. And how close will it get? Pretty close. The chapel. Okay, there's a book in here that we can look at, and we could also talk with her.
Maker, prepare a place for us. Redeem our world from sin. Forgive our transgressions.
Maker, forgive us all.
Have you come to pray for your brother and father? I'd be happy to ask for the Maker's blessings with you.
I would appreciate that.
Please, child. Call me Malol. I've known you since you were a wee babe after all. Creator of the sky, the land, and the sea. Hear your people in our time of need. Let no man have cause to fear the shadows. Let their souls be lifted upon your return. So let it be.
Maker, forgive us all.
There now. I'll be keeping a vigil tonight. You're welcome to come. There are many more who must receive the Maker's blessings before they leave. If you would excuse me.
Okay. Thank you.
It is the least I could do. If the worst comes to pass, child, take comfort in knowing that the Maker's will takes many forms. We shall talk once the soldiers have departed.
Okay. Exploration. Use the W, A, S, and D keys to explore the world. Alternately, right-click on the ground to select a destination. Use your mouse wheel to zoom in, scroll forward for exploration, and out, scroll backward for tactical combat. In exploration mode, moving the mouse while clicking in the right button rotates your view. In tactical mode, clicking in the mouse wheel lets you pan across the screen. You can only pan until your party members are at the edge of the screen. All right. This book. All right. Andraste, Bride of the Maker. It's over here. Unlocked, yes.
And I'm off.
That's what I'm talking about. Locked item. You just encountered a locked object. You might be able to pick the lock if your skill is high enough, or you might need to locate a key through adventure or negotiation. What's in here? I see a chest.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I love loots. Oh, let's look at that. I see lesser health potion. Inventory. Inventory is divided into two sections. Equipped items for the selected character on the left and shared party inventory on the right. You can drag and drop items between the two sides or down to the quick bar. Double click to use or equip them automatically. Right click and hold to open the radial menu to interact with items. Let's expand this. Let's move this down here. Let's move this down here. Thank you. And this greenstone, I don't know what it does. Inspect. Blue greenstone with a pattern like a turtle's shell. Don't remember what it does. Blood dragon plate. Massive armor. Okay, that we won't be using because this is more like for a warrior and it requires 38 strength. We will never get to 38 strength. Not on this build. Okay, we have our dual weapon sweep down here is in number 1, number 2, dirty fighting. And then of course our poison making. Let's move this over here. All right, that's it, everything in here. Can't go that way. I like that I'm getting experience just for unlocking these doors. Coins. Hello.
Good evening, milady.
How are you?
Good evening, milady.
Good evening. Hello.
Good evening, milady.
What's in here? see a chest. Take that. That's a crafting item if I remember correctly. What's going on in here? Hello.
We will serve you while the Terran is away.
Let me see. Yes, I believe we're going back this way. Getting lost already. Yes. That was the main hall. I believe that was that where we were at, the main hall. Let's take a look.
And I'm off.
Yeah, that's where everybody was. So we need to go, yeah, this way. Yeah, we can't go any way but this way.
There you are. Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Hello to you too, Sir Gilmore.
Pardon my abruptness, my lady. It's simply that I've been looking everywhere for you. I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave.
Did the dog get into the larder again?
No matter how the maids try to keep him out, he always finds a way in. You know these Mabari hounds. He'll listen to his mistress, but anyone else risks having an arm bitten off.
I guess I should go collect him.
That would be wise, before Nan tears down the walls. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled. Shall we?
Sure. Where is my mother exactly?
She was entertaining Lady Landra and her son when I left her. Perhaps in the atrium? Before we go, my lady, might I beg a question? I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me?
Yeah, that's true too.
Maker's breath. Are you certain? Can you imagine me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of. Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
Controlling your party. Controlling party members. A new party member has joined you. You can take control of this character directly by left-clicking on his or her portrait or body. Alternately, you can use the tactics menu / to adjust how the AI controls them. / Okay. Well, I'm most likely always going to be controlling her. Oh, look at that. They already have her as a scrapper. I like it. Sir Gilmore, we're not going to worry about doing any of this because if I remember correctly, excuse me, this is only in the castle that we're going to control him. Tactics. The tactics screen is a tool used to customize your party's actions and reactions based on current situations in combat. AI general behavior. A party member's general behavior can be configured using the drop-down menu at the top of the right side of the screen. For example, should he or she charge enemies or be more cautious? Does this party member prefer ranged or melee weapon? Tactic slots let you set up automatic actions that the party member will take in specific situations, like casting heal. Whenever a party member drops below 50% health, tactics are displayed in a numbered list. Each tactic requires a condition and an action. The condition determines when to execute the tactic. The action determines what happens when the tactic fires. Gosh, that's so tiny, it's hard for me to read it. Tactic slots at the top of the list are the highest priority. They will activate before ones further down in the list. You can reorganize tactic slots by left-clicking on a number and dragging. Tactic slots can also be temporarily disabled by left-clicking on the plus symbol in front of the slot. To re-enable the tactic, click the plus again. AI Tactics Presets. You can save a set of tactics at any time. Click the Save Preset button to store the current settings. Use the presets pull-down to switch between different sets of conditions and actions. All right. Where are we going? Where are we going to find our doggo? Mischief in the larder. Get your trusty hound out of the larder. Sir Gilmore has come to you with a problem in the kitchen. Your dog is in the pantry causing problems, and the cook wants you to deal with him. Sir Gilmore will join you while you deal with the matter. Okay, so we can only have one quest active at a time. And, okay, he's right here. So we were going to go there anyways. But of course, we're going to go down here first before we go see what our dog is up to. All kinds of sparkles in here. Elf fruit, I know, is used for healing. Health poultices. You have acquired a health poultice. These instantly restore some of your health. To use the poultice, drag it from your inventory into your quick bar. Double-click it directly from the inventory or right-click on it in the inventory and select Use. Stores sell more poultices, and characters who have learned the herbalism can create their own. Okay, we got a sack over here, some sacks, pile of sacks with some quartz in it. I think that's it in here. Yep, I hear a dog barking. Hey, look at the little kitty! Hey, kitty! Excuse me, excuse me.
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder.
But mistress, it won't let us near.
If I can't get into that larder, I'll skin both of you useless elves. I swear it.
Aww.
Calm down, good woman. We've come to help.
You and you. Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down.
Oh, okay. So when I said I'm going to be snarky, I'm not going to be like this kind of snarky. Perhaps you should lock your larder tighter.
If I locked it any tighter, we couldn't get in.
Oh dear. Mistress, calm down, please.
That's it. I'll quit. Inform the turner. I'll go and cook at some nice estate in the Banorn.
Nan, please. We'll get the dog. Calm down.
Just get him gone. I've enough to worry about with a castle full of hungry soldiers. You two, stop standing there like idiots. Get out of the way.
Just checking for loots before we go in here and see what our dog goes up to. Oh, look at the doggy. He's checking out something.
Oh, look at that mess. How did he even get in here?
Look at that little stub of a tail. Uh-oh. Excited barking. You trying to tell me something, boy?
He does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait, did you hear that?
Please enter a name for the dog. Well, we currently have 2 dogs, a male and a female. Our female dog's name is Zoe, and she's a Yorkie. And our male dog's name is Bentley, and he's a Maltese. So we're going to call him Bentley. Though Bentley, my Bentley, and this Bentley look nothing alike. Combat basics. Okay, the game is paused for us. You're in a combat situation. Mastery of the battlefield is important. Zoom out, scroll backward in combat to gain a better view of your situation. You can also pause for tactical preparation by pressing space. To attack an enemy, simply right-click on them. To use a talent, left click on it in your quick bar to use it against your current target. Okay?
Oh.
All right. Okay, and then we can spin the camera around. That's nice.
I was hoping for something more
Get on
exciting.
them! Attack!
Oh, too bad for you.
Get out of here!
Can we please hit? Thank you.
Serves you right. The dogs will dine on your corpses.
And I'm off.
Good work.
Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell. Your hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all.
Dang, we sure have a lot of blood on us for just for some rats. Yeah, those were very large rats.
I've seen larger. They come up from the Kakari wilds sometimes. But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand, I'll be on my way. I'm to prepare for the arrival of more of the Isle's men.
Dang, look how big those things were. New Codex, Bentley. Can we put our weapons away? All right, let's check what's in here. Deep mushroom. Bentley, can we talk to you? Oh, he's so cute. That's petting. Can you do something about this gory mess? Let's pet him. Aww. Okay, let's check out. Can you do something about this gory mess? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna eat the rats? Well, I don't know what he did. You see something interesting? He barks excitedly and runs off. Dirty pair of silk pantaloons. What? Yeah, one can never have too many pairs of pantaloons. Now, where did he get those from? In the larder, no less. Gifts. You have found a gift. You can give it to one of your party members by opening the inventory screen, switching to the party member, then right-clicking on the item and selecting gift from the radial menu. Each party member has a favorite type of gift, and certain items are so precious to a particular character that others will refuse to gift outright. Your camp is a great place to give gifts because party members are sometimes reluctant to talk about themselves on the open road. Oh wow, are you trying to tell me that those pantaloons are a gift? Oh my goodness. Who in the right mind would want some pantaloons? Dirty pair of pantaloons. These pantaloons, crusted with soil, were probably buried for years before the Mabari dug them up. On closer inspection, it appears that they were once either gold or silver in color. Gifts can be sold to a merchant or given to certain party members to influence their approval rating. I have no idea who would want the pantaloons. All right, we are done in here. Let's go.
There he is, as brazen as you please, licking his chops after helping himself to the roast, no doubt.
Actually, he was defending your larder from rats. Big ones.
What? Rats? Not the large grey ones.
They'll rip you to shreds, they will!
See, now you've gone and scared the servants. I expect those filthy things are dead.
My faithful warhound made sure it's safe.
Oh, I bet that dog led those rats into there to begin
Oh,
with.
come on, Nan. That's right, Bentley.
Oh, don't even start with the sad eyes. I'm immune to your so-called charms. Here then, take these pork bits and don't say that Nan never gives you anything. Bloody dog. Thank you, my lady. Now we can get to work. That's right, you two. Quit standing about.
Okay, we are done in here. Oh, and look, we now have Bentley with us. He's a level 1 war dog. He's got quite a bit of health. Wow, he's got a lot of health. Okay. Come on, Bentley. Let's go finish exploring the castle.
Good evening, milady.
Hello. What's happening in here? Looks like a dining room. I see nothing special in here. Uh-oh. Oh, that looks like Mom. Mom and her friends.
My dear Bryce bought this pack from Orlais last year. The Marquis who gave it to him was drunk, I understand, and mistook Bryce for the king. Ah, here is my lovely daughter. I take it by the presence of that troublesome hound of yours that the situation in the kitchen is handled?
Yes. Nan is back to work as we speak.
You've always had a way with her. Darling, you remember Lady Landra, Ban Lawrence's wife?
I think we last met at your mother's spring salon.
Of course, it's good to see you again, my lady. Oh, weren't you drunk?
You're too kind, dear girl. Didn't I spend half the salon trying to convince you to marry my son?
And made a very poor case for it, I might add.
You remember my son, Dyron. He's not married yet either.
Oh.
Don't listen to her.
Okay.
It's good to see you again, milady. You're looking as beautiful as ever.
You're kind of pretty too. Thank you, Flower. Go soak your head. You're looking handsome yourself.
And this is my lady-in-waiting, Iona. Do say something, dear.
Iona's pretty too.
It is a great pleasure, my lady. You are as pretty as your mother describes.
You would think that it would make it easier to make a match for her, not more difficult.
Perhaps your daughter simply has a mind of her own, your ladyship. You should be proud.
Proud doesn't get me any more grandchildren.
Okay. I can handle my own affairs, thank you. May I go now, Mother? You are aware that we're at war. Perhaps we should speak alone sometime, Darren. Ooh, let's be flirty.
I would like that, milady.
I think perhaps I shall rest now, my dear. Dyron, I will see you and Iona at supper.
Perhaps we'll retire to the study for now.
He almost looks like Cullen.
Good evening, your ladyship.
You have anything else to say, Mother dear?
You should say goodbye to Fergus while you have the chance.
You're right, I should go. Did you know there's a Grey Warden here? Do you know where Fergus might be? Why can't I go with Father and Fergus? I have a bad feeling about all this. Are you staying at the castle? Let's see. Why can't I go with Father and Fergus?
I know it's difficult to stay in the castle and watch others ride off. But we must see to our duties first. You understand that, don't you?
I can make a difference.
You are here. Trust me, you'll get your chance for excitement soon enough.
Did you know there's a Grey Warden here?
Yes, your father mentioned that. You haven't got it into your head that you want to be recruited.
The Darkspawn have returned. Grey Wardens are needed. Father wouldn't allow it. Would that be so bad? Definitely not. Would that be so bad?
There's enough here at the castle to occupy you. I don't need you off chasing danger like your brother.
Do you know where Fergus might be?
If he's not out with his men, probably upstairs with Oriana.
I have a bad feeling about all this.
As do I. Your father and brother are marching off to fight Maker knows what. All the assurances in the world don't comfort me, but it wouldn't help for us to take up arms and follow. Fergus and your father have their duty and we have ours.
All right. I'll go.
I love you, my darling girl. You know that, don't you?
I love you too, Mom.
Go do what you must then. I will see you soon.
Okay. Anything of importance here? No. All right, let's go upstairs.
All right.
No treasures? What? Oh, that stinks. Let's see, where are we at on them? That was the kitchen, the atrium, that's where we just came from, the library. Okay, that's where we're going. We haven't been, I don't think we've been to the library yet. Or the guard post. That's my room. Let's head back down and go to the library and the study and the guard post before we go talk to Fergus. Let's see.
Good evening, milady.
Hello.
Going.
Uh-oh, what's happening? All right, this is the library. What's happening in here? We have some books over here. Let's look at the books. Okay. So, even if we don't read the codex, we're still getting experience for finding the books.
Hello, my dear girl. By chance, I am beginning to teach these young squires about your family's history.
Do we have to? History is boring.
Boys, you are referring to the Couslands, the very family in whose castle you live. Show some respect.
It's all right. It is boring. Still the same taskmaster I see. They could do with some discipline. Still the same taskmaster I see.
If the mind is not exercised, it withers just as the body does. Perhaps you'd care to join me in teaching the lesson?
I'm a bit old for lessons, I think. I'm quite familiar with the subject matter. Certainly, I'd be happy to. No, thank you. I must attend to an important task. I'm quite familiar with the subject matter.
Perhaps you could make the topic more palatable for these lads and their minuscule intellects.
Very well.
Wonderful. Oh, the Cousland history is long indeed. Where shall we start?
Let's see. Come to think of it, I have things I must do. When was our line founded? We predate the founding of the kingdom, yes? Tell about our relationship with our Howe. We predate the founding of the kingdom, yes?
Well, I'm glad some of my lessons don't disappear into that yawning chasm between your ears, young lady.
I don't advise insulting me, old man. I'm doing the best I can. Your lecturing does lead to yawning. It's your skill as a tutor, of course. Your lecturing does lead to yawning, yeah, because he's getting on my nerves already.
A pity you don't spend the same care whetting the edge of your mind as your tongue. At any rate, your family has held the Tourneur of High Ever since before King Calenhad united Ferelden. In fact, Tierna Elethea Cousland battled Calenhad to maintain High Ever's independence.
We opposed the king, and Calenhad let us keep the Tyrant. I suppose we lost, and Calenhad let us keep the Tyrant.
Calenhad wished to unite Ferelden, not conquer it. After Elethea's men were defeated, Calenhad asked her to swear fealty. The boulder where they held council still stands today as a memorial of that event.
Time to end the lesson, I think. We opposed the king. When was our line founded?
Well, records are vague, but the Couslands became Tierns during the Black Age. Is that familiar, child?
Ooh, we need some cunning to do this. During the lycanthrope plagues. Not really? Yeah, I remember something about an age in there. Let's do this.
Good. I'm pleased some of my lessons seem to have stuck. At that time, your family held only the minor title of Ban. When the werewolves reached this area, Ban Mather Cousland organized a curfew and patrols within the city. Several other local bands supported his efforts by swearing oaths of fealty, making him their Tiern.
Tell about the relationship with our Howe.
The history between the Couslands and the Howes reaches back to the Orlesian occupation.
When did the Orlais occupy High Ever?
during your grandfather's rule. Of course, Orlais found it difficult to hold these lands. During the rebellion against Orlais, several battles were fought near Highever. The port village of Harper's Ford was the tournier's center. Its Arl was Tarleton Howe. Though nearly 90, he was still as sharp and bitter as cheap ale. Your grandfather openly supported the rebellion, but Howe sided with Orlais. Your family was forced to seize Harper's Ford before it was all over.
But my father and our Hal are old friends. We fought the Howes. As was our right, the Howes are our vassals. Unfortunate, but we couldn't lose Harper's Ford. But my father and our Hal are old friends.
The Howes eventually joined the rebellion, when all of Ferelden united behind King Merrick and General Loghain. Just as now we united behind Merrick's son, King Cailan, to fight the Darkspawn.
Time to end the lesson, I think.
Thank you for indulging an old man.
Does that mean we have to listen to you now?
Silence! I will not have you two becoming smart-mouthed hooligans. Perhaps you should go. I doubt they need any more distraction. I'm just going to settle in here and apparently just talk to myself for all the good I'm doing.
For all the good I'm doing. Oh, goodness. Okay. Can we talk to the little squire?
Mother says the Darkspawn will all be killed and I won't see one. Is that true?
And what about you?
Mother says the Darkspawn will all be killed and I won't see one. Is that true?
You both have the same voice. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. Thanks for watching, and catch you the next time.